Hello, Ben here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be reviewing tips for replacing the transmission fluid on this 2020 Kia Sportage with the 6-speed transmission. Now let's get started. So you might be wondering, other than the fact that your car may have reached a certain mileage milestone, what are symptoms of bad or dirty transmission fluid? Well, you might have rough shifting, tachometer readings near or above 2,000 RPMs when you're at constant speeds between 45 and 60 miles an hour. And also your eco mode may be disengaging during normal acceleration. Now let's move on to our supply list. Okay, on our supply list today we have 6 quarts of automatic transmission fluid. You'll want to look for the SP-11 specification. We have a clear hose with a 3/8 inch inner diameter. We have a funnel. We have a drain pan. We have a 24 millimeter socket. We have a 10 millimeter socket. We have a clip remover for the cover underneath the engine. We have a 3/8 inch ratchet and extensions to open and close the fill port on the transmission, and other items shown in the description below. Please note that this video is for educational purposes only. You should review your car's maintenance manual for specifications related to the transmission. Now let's move on. So the first thing you'll want to do is move to the lower front portion of the car, and you're going to be loosening the cover underneath the car. There's approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's maybe 8 screws along the front of the cover. You want to loosen all those up. That's where your 10 millimeter socket comes in handy. Also, there's some clips right in this area here near the wheels. Be extra careful. We're removing those clips. Okay, clips can be very fragile. Once you have the engine covered lower, go ahead and, I want to note something. There is a special screw right here in the center that's holding up this heavy cover. And you see that it attaches to this screw right here. So you want to take extra time, and so it's probably maybe a 12 millimeter, maybe 14 millimeter screw that fits on under here. And you see that screw is permanently mounted. So do not try to remove that screw. Okay, it simply tightens right there. And I guess Kia did that because they realized that this cover is very heavy. And if these outer clips were to break, and if this cover were hanging down, it would rip off. And so, actually it's a pretty nice thing. So moving on. Once you have the cover lowered, what you can see here, so I'm not going to take the cover all the way off. I'm just going to show you how to do it. So this is your transmission drain port right here. So this is your 24 millimeter bolt. Okay, moving up. So this is the fluid level port. I'm going to go ahead, loosen this bolt right here, put the drain pan down here, let the fluid drain into the pan. It's probably going to be about 3 quarts of fluid. And you go ahead and let that start draining. Okay, now let's move to the top of the engine. So while the fluid's draining, let's go ahead and locate the fill port for the transmission. And I want to say Kia has made a big improvement over prior years. They've made this a whole heck of a lot easier. Now, can you see? I'm gonna slide my flashlight. Can you see that 3/8 inch ratchet? And the ratchet extension would fit right there, and it fits in there perfectly. I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate that right now. Okay, so what I've done now is here's my ratchet in place with my 2 extensions. I'm gonna zoom right in and show you where that fill port is. It's right there. Now let's zoom in. There you go. You guys know, I believe this bolt is plastic. And so you just loosen it up. Okay, now here is a short, quick view of the transmission fill port bolt. Has a small rubber gasket on there, right there. The oil has finished draining. We've drained approximately 3 quarts of transmission fluid. At this time, you're going to reattach the bolt to the transmission, but you're only going to attach it hand tight, snug. Go ahead and add 3 quarts of the automatic transmission fluid to the transmission. And I'm showing you a picture now showing the hose in place in the fill port. You should pour this fluid very slowly. 3 quarts of fluid. Start the engine. Once you have the engine started, let it run for 1 minute, 1 minuto. And while you're doing that, you're going to cycle through the gears 3 times.
Absolutely. Check out our offers on shelving and desks. Oh, what about mattresses? Yeah, those two dressers.
Okay. After 1 minute, go ahead and shut the engine off. Go ahead and drain all of the fluid out of the transmission. This is the second flush. This is probably going to take about 2 or 3 minutes. Once the container is full, you're going to go ahead and reattach the drain plug for the permanent installation. And it only takes about maybe 15 foot-pounds of torque to tighten this bolt right here. You're going to fill the transmission with approximately 3 quarts of fluid. You have your pan in place, and then right here you have your level check right here. Okay, you're gonna take your pliers and you're simply going to loosen this bolt right here. Loosen this bolt right here, and you're going to turn this knob until the fluid drips out. Once the fluid stops flowing out, you simply stop. You tighten it back up. And you're done. Okay, once you have the fill port plug hand tight, go ahead and tighten it down using the ratchet. About 7 pounds of pressure is all you need, guys. Remember, this is the plastic cover, transmission cover, and the bolt is plastic. So you're just snugging it down. Okay? Do not over tighten. Okay, guys, we're getting close to the end. So far, just for a quick review, we've drained 2 volumes of old transmission fluid, and we've poured in 2 volumes of new transmission fluid. So that's why I like to call this a mini flush, because it's a flush that gets rid of about 75% of the fluid while not having to change the transmission filter, which is a much bigger job. This wraps up the transmission fluid drain and mini flush on this 2020 Kia Sportage. I hope you found my tips to be helpful, and as always, please drive defensively.